Okay, so basically this is a quick introduction to the unit circle. This is your unit circle as you would see it on the log tables, okay? Cos is the x-axis and sine is the y-axis, okay? This circle is such that the radius is always 1, okay? And it is always 1 for this type of a circle, okay? Which means the coordinates are 1, 0, 0, 1, minus 1, 0, and 0, minus 1. Okay, in degrees, we have 0 degrees here, and then I move around the circle from the 0 degrees. So I have 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and 270 degrees. Okay, so as we said before, the unit circle is used such that it converts sine, cos, and tan, which only exist between 0 and 90 degrees, into any other degree. So be that between 0 and 360 or further than 360. So for starters, I use this circle. Okay, so I'm using this triangle. I'm using this triangle to give me sine, cos, and tan as I've had before. So if I'm talking A is my angle, then this is my hypotenuse, y is my opposite, and cos is my adjacent. Okay, so sine of A is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. So sine is equal to y. Okay, so the y coordinate. Cos A is equal to the adjacent, which is x, over 1. So it is x. So this is where I'm getting the cos A sine A is xy. Okay, so if I take any coordinate, so I'm going to look at one over here in a second, and take cos B sine B, so just using B as a different angle here. Okay, so the coordinate will be cos B sine B with respect to whatever this angle would be. Okay, if I go look at tan A, then tan A is equal to the opposite, which is y, over the adjacent, which is x. Now I know that y is sine A and x is cos A. Okay, so we define tan A as sine A cos A. Okay, and this will become quite important. So let's look at this angle over here. Okay, so I'm going to rub out this here just to give us a little bit more room. So let's look at the angle from this line. Okay, so I'm now looking at this angle. So the angle always comes from the 0 degrees. So it always starts here. So let's call this angle B. Okay, so this is cos, let's say it's 150. Cos 150, sine 150. Okay, so let's rub that out. Say 150. Okay, now this is where we get this thing called a reference angle. And on your PowerPoint, okay, and in your book, I've given this idea of a reference angle and how you find the reference angle. So in what is the second quadrant, okay, so this is my second quadrant. My reference angle is this here. Okay, so my reference angle is always off the x-axis, okay, to the x-axis, okay, so to the horizontal. So if my green angle there is 50, then this angle here must be 30 degrees, okay, so this is my reference angle, okay, it's a 30-degree reference angle, okay, and what I have here, so if I have cos 150, okay, that cos 150 is the same as its reference angle, cos of 30, okay, except cos in this section, which we'll look at in a minute, has a negative sign, so it's minus cos of 30. Sorry, the dog. Okay, so I can choose any angle anywhere in this circle. So if I choose the angle, let's say the angle 300, okay, the angle 300 is going to be in here. This is greater than 270, and say this would be 360 the whole way around. So I'm going from here all the way around to there would be 300 degrees. Okay, but what I'm interested in isn't the 300 degrees, it's actually the reference angle here. Okay, and the reference angle is always to the horizontal. So if it's 300 degrees to here, from there to there, I must have now 60 degrees. Okay, so I'm always looking for the reference angle. Okay, I'll just rub a bit of this out just to give us a bit more clarity. Okay, if I was to look at a reference angle, let's say I'm going to look at this orange line in here now. So we know this is 180 degrees. Let's look at the angle here, and let's say it's 100 or 225 degrees. So I know it's greater than 180, but less than 170. So from here all the way around is 225 degrees. Okay, well, I know it's 80 degrees up until here. Okay, so 80 degrees to 225 degrees. My reference angle in here is 45 degrees. Okay, so I've got to look for the reference angle in each case.